Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your favorite, your boy Brandon from The Challenge. We're over here at Zach Nichols Podcast. We're going over these past couple of episodes. Check in, dial in. You're going to love it.
Welcome back to the Zach Nichols Podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Zach Nichols.
And back from reality TV death with an even better beard, we have Brandon Nelson.
Yeah. Round of applause for B. Nelson in the building, bro.
Did you think that day when you got that call was ever going to come?
Nah, I didn't, man. I thought I was dead in the water.
What happened, though? Was it just like free agents happened and then nothing?
I blame you.
Well, first of all, that was all random chance.
Yeah.
And it was funny because when I was showering, getting ready to come here, I was like trying to like think back to that moment. I just remember we were actually working together in that game. Like you came in and you're like, listen, I want someone who's never won before to win. We got to go for the vets, get them out. I'm like, we're good. We had Chet, Jordan. We had a good squad, but then we get introduced to kill cards and we're like, oh, this changes things.
Yeah.
And you got voted in and I pulled one kill card all season. It was that one. And I just remember thinking like, I did a hall brawl and CJ whooped my ass. He outsmarted me on Battle of the Seasons. And I'm like, I was like kind of coming into it timid. And I remember rounding that corner and I'm like, holy shit, he's going for this. And I saw that look in your eye, like you had this look in your eye, like, oh, I'm doing it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad you did that, but I'm not glad that it took us over a decade to get you back.
Yeah.
So you blame me, but was it just like radio silence on the calls?
Yeah, it was. So like even back to us on that elimination. Prior to that, I forget who told me. It was somebody on production. They were like, you know, you don't have to do this, right? I was like, fuck that. I ain't no bitch. I'm fucking doing it. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, God damn, this is gonna be bad. So I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna go out, I'm going out swinging. So, because at first I was like, I'm gonna go low and try to, squeeze by.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah, fuck it. Why not? So I ain't gonna lie. For like 3 days after that, this whole side is just, I think I had, what do you call it, palsy, whatever.
Right.
She's just dead from face down.
A stinger, yeah.
Yeah, so.
I just remember being like, oh man, he wants it.
Yeah.
Well, because I was like 250 at that point.
Yeah. Solid.
Pretty solid 250,
solid.
And
easily.
I was like, I didn't think you were going to do this. I thought you were going to do like the go low, get me to flip, and then out sprint me, but
nah, man, I'm just crazy like that. Like I'll jump off the top of the building if you tell me the parachute's gonna open.
Yeah,
so,
we know that. We know that.
Well, you're opening up my eyes. It's kind of like how every coach gets fired after LeBron, between Trey and then Brandon. Like, who else have you retired, basically?
Well, Trey was because I'm an idiot, and but Brandon was because of bad luck.
Very bad luck.
Trying to think.
But obviously the tide's coming around.
CJ.
Oh, that's right.
He actually, that hall brawl was the last time he was ever on the channel.
Oh my gosh, dude. Well, your streak has been ended in this case. All right. So
yes.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm glad.
Who else, is there anyone else you remember?
Not that I can think off the top of my head, but I just was really excited when I saw that cast list come out. And I was like, I'm really happy you're on this one. And I was like, you're gonna be one of the better athletes there.
Yeah, man. It's like so. Like back to your question, it was radio silence after first meet. Actually, no. I got an availability call. It might have been for Dirty 30, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe the one prior to that. I don't know, because I'm, I get butthurt about this shit. So if I'm not on it, I'm not watching it. So
I feel that.
Yeah. So after that, it was just nothing. So I really thought I was done. And so at that point, I'm like, all right, well, let me go ahead and try this real life thing. And then, kids, failed marriage, and then I get a call to pull me out of that rut. So I'm like, you know what? Yeah. So actually, I had like maybe 2 weeks to get ready, because I was in a bad spot. So as soon as they were like, okay, you're an alternate for 4, but then I started, who are these people that have all this inside intel? Because I started getting these random messages from people I don't even know on social media saying, you're going to be on 4, like get ready. And I'm like, who is this faceless profiles that will just send me, are you getting ready for 4? You should get ready for 4. And I'm like, well, who are you? And then you go, no followers, no posts, but I'm getting messages from these random people. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, for 2 weeks, 2 days, I'm just on it. No cheese, no sugar, no salt. I'm literally eating raw beef. Cow's not even dead. So I'm just chewing on random livestock, and I was good to go. So
So they got you got some random shadow accounts.
Yeah.
Telling you that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't get those, so it's legit. No, I get the ones that are like, when are you coming back? And I'm like, oh, you sad sap. You don't understand it. But I don't get those. That's awesome. But we're glad to have you back. And this is a great cast.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best casts we've seen in a long time.
Absolutely.
It was probably a lot of fun, too, being back. Nothing will get you out of a rut much more than going to summer camp, adult summer camp.
Yeah, and especially with this one, because I'm not going to say it was easy, but once you get that taste of it, especially with the first challenge, I was like, I'm good. That first time down and back, I'm like, I'll be good. And I started looking at other people. I'm like, oh, y'all don't want this. Like,
Yeah.
you don't
Oh,
want
yeah.
it like I do.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. So I felt great.
Yeah, there's a-
Unfortunately, shit.
You just get yourself in these like terrible scenarios where like people have like loaded decks against you, and you're like what am I gonna do?
because it's
You
like
know
if
what
I
I'm
play
saying?
one way, I lose. And then I'm like, okay, let's switch it up this time because everything that I had gone through, I did come in a lot more selfish on this one. Like,
As you should with kids.
Yeah.
And we're
And the
all
things that I-
older now. And in your head, you kind of should think like everyone should understand now it is like a high stakes poker game. And you can't hold what we do in this house against us in real life.
exactly.
So when you're younger, you don't think like that. But when you get older and you got, mouths to feed, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Either-
especially when you've been, because you start like, you do an audit on things that have happened in the past. So
Oh,
even the things that happen in real life between free agents and me getting back on, the real life stuff really shaped me into like, okay, I got to do what's best for me because ultimately nobody gives a fuck. You have to do what's best for you first. Then you can help other people around you. But when you're trying to please everybody, you're losing. And I was like, I'm not doing that again. If I ever get another chance to be back on the show, I'm going for the head as soon as I get a chance to.
Well, and then I agree with that 100%. And what sucks is like we have this show of people who they do it when they're younger, right?
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden you start to go through that real life shit. You start to become a stronger person. You start to have more, life and death situations happen, and you
Like literally.
and this is when we as viewers I want to see that Brandon. I don't want to see the party Brandon who's like, yeah, I'll have a couple beers before elimination round because my partner Caitlyn Jenner's hurt.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
There's that.
Yeah, okay.
There's
because
that,
I
but-
still get that to this day.
Right, like that. Like I understood where you're coming from with that, but
Yeah.
like that was a very carefree Brandon. And then like you came back. Okay, I'm hungry, but now you have kids. We want to see that. The guy with kids. We want to see how hungry that guy gets. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We want to see how that shaped you. And that's what's so great about the challenge. And that's why All Stars is amazing, is because we get to see you in a place where it's actually interesting now. Not that you weren't interesting before, but it's like you have kids, you have a reason, and you were able to separate like, yeah, Cara, you're my friend. And I love the point that you made. You're like, I've had children, I've been married, I've been unmarried, like, and I haven't heard from you. So $250,000, if it's going to go to me or it's going to go to you, it's going to go to me.
Absolutely.
And I understood the move. I thought it was a little bit premature, but I get the thought behind it
Yeah.
with everything you've been through.
Yeah. And so I came in loaded like that too. Of course, hindsight's 2020. Okay, throw in a Nicole or whatever and then save it for later, save the move for later. But I didn't want to sell myself short because I did everything that everyone else asked me to do in every challenge I had done prior.
Yeah, 100%.
Come along with this, man. My first one on Fresh Meat too. You got Wes saying, "Hey, we should do this. We should do." Even when Caitlyn got hurt,
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "Man, go!" Like I literally carried her to the podium for TJ just to tell everybody, who won, who didn't. Clearly, we did not. But I was like, he was like, "Just don't let her get in that ambulance. Don't let her go to the hospital because we're gonna say." He's like, "Look, no offense, but you guys suck, and we're gonna keep you to the end." And I was like, "I want to be here just as long as I can be. I understand I'm not gonna win the final with this chick, but let's just keep me on TV for as long as we can." So I'm like, "Caitlyn, suck this shit up." I turn my back for 2 seconds as we're still on site. I look up, she's hobbling over to the fucking ambulance. So at that point, I knew my fate was sealed. So it's like, okay, I'm getting back to the house. Anything that's not bolted down, I'm gonna drink it.
I do have a tough question to ask you though. So you just talked about how you're playing your own game, right? What would you say if somebody was like, "Nah, like Cam influenced you to make that move"? Like,
All right.
did you make that move on your own? Like, let's talk about that process.
Let's get this out the way, man.
Come on now. That concludes the free preview of the Zach Nichols podcast.
So go to Patreon and subscribe to see the rest of the shit that we talk.
Go do it now.